Okay, Winter Field Day 2025. I'm Greg Lane, N4KGL. And I love field days, so I'm so glad there is a field day in June and one in January. And uh, one of the objectives you'll find in the rules was to copy the bulletin. And I, there's a similar thing for ARRL field day, and I've never actually copied a bulletin. But I really like the way that the Winter Field Day organization put it on. They a It was a YL came on and had to chase some people off the frequency, and so she gave a real good heads up that the message was coming. Stand by for the message, and she was very professional. I think with ARRL, they don't give you any warning at all. They just start. So Uh, but anyway,
Did you find her a little fast?
well, I recorded it.
Oh, I wished I'd done that. I'm writing
Uh,
it down and I can't keep up.
she was she was slowing down, but yeah, I wouldn't be able to keep up.
Don't forget, I'm in
Eh,
a cold environment too.
Yeah, and then I didn't stay for it, but another station came on, I believe, after the first station with the message so that if you couldn't copy the first one due to propagation, you could hear the second one. So I give them props for doing that, and uh, I won't read this, but snow, ice, and frigid temperatures can make responding to winter disasters more difficult. And the Winter Field Day event allows you to test your equipment and improve your operational abilities in harsh outdoor conditions. And here in Alabama, we
Snow and ice.
almost had snow and ice. And when the power went out, I said, "This is an emergency." But
Did you
it,
lose your power?
well, for 2 hours, I was getting worried,
Really?
but it came back on. So, uh, but now I found out when I submitted my log, they wanted you to
Copy
put
paste the text in the box.
put the text in the box.
Yeah.
So I had to actually transcribe it or whatever. And so that's,
So they also send it out 10 minutes later at quarter after the hour on Olivia. And
yeah.
I tried to transcribe this girl, and with it being cold in the ice shack I was in, I couldn't quite get it. No sweat. I'll get it on Olivia. I'm all set up. Got my FL Digi on Olivia, right mode, copying good. My buddy came in with the hot pizza from town. I'm showing him the screen. I said, we're away to the races. And that Panasonic Toughbook decided that its battery had had enough right at the end of the message. Gone. Everything gone. So I had it all scribbled out, and my wife transposed it for me this morning, Greg. So I know where
Oh,
you're
well, nice.
at.
Okay. Well, the basics. Well, this year I was one operator. Chris was did not join us, uh, like he did for several years down south as a snowbird. Um, and I was operating from a parked camping trailer at my daughter's house. So originally I was going to a campground, but there was nobody to pal up with, so I decided to do it in Dothan at my friend's house. And then it dawned on to me that I had this camping trailer that I could just use where it was parked. And for in the rules for Winter Field Day, a something that has wheels and can move is considered mobile category. So I was uh, One Mobile, Alabama. So Alabama was my section. And I used QRP power. It was 10 watts for sideband and 5 watts for the other modes. And I haven't, I've had good success with QRP. And uh, the multiplier increases by 4 when you use QRP. So, and actually, I operated really about half of the 30 hours. So I did get some sleep. And my logger, like Chris, was N1MM. And I set it up to integrate, so to speak, with FL Digi. So it put up a screen of the waterfall for FL Digi, and I was using PSK31. So I'd click on the waterfall, and like Chris said, it it will capture the information and put it in the log. And uh, I did search and pounce, as people have mentioned. Um, I guess being QRP, I was not one of the stations running. Uh, Perhaps I could have been, but there were plenty of people to find for search and pounce. So I just went from one end of the band to the other and then switched to another band and then back and all
That's
that.
what I did. I did that too.
Yep. And uh, the multiplier for there was a satellite objective which had a multiplier for a linear satellite of 3. Actually, these multipliers add up. And I had not used my satellite rig since the last field day, which was 2 months, and I didn't practice before this event, so my confidence was low, but I managed to contact on RS-44. Like Chris did, it wasn't the same pass. So I got somebody in the Maryland, D.C. area, and things weren't going well, but all of a sudden it came together and I got a contact. So I
Now,
didn't,
how come no FM satellite for you, Greg?
well, actually, I tried. I don't know what it was, but that's the first satellite I tried was SO50, and I didn't hear anything.
I crapped out on SO50 as well.
I just didn't hear anything. So,
Maybe it was off. I don't know. ISS worked out well for me, which surprised me.
yeah. Um, and I probably should have tried another pass on FM, but I didn't. So, but anyway, I was happy with the linear satellite.
You got the big one,
Yeah.
the big points.
Yep. So the trailer I mentioned, this is it in my daughter's backyard, and it has a cover, and this is very convenient if you own a camping trailer to have your own place to park. And um,
Did the cover come with a house, or did you build that for your trailer?
no, it was already there.
Oh, bonus.
It made it very attractive, I tell you. So, well, it's a detail, but those are metal supports holding the roof up, so to speak, for the cover. And I didn't use those as a counterpoise, but I suspect they could have been. I thought about it. So this turned out to be a real nice way to go. Uh, when I go camping, I operate outdoors because my wife is with me and she doesn't want to listen to me all night or all day. So I do it outdoors and I like being outdoors. But this time I was in the camper and I'll go over the antennas. I have something called a buddy hex, which is a portable hex beam, and this is a killer antenna. It does
Also,
it does take time to set up and to take down, but it's directional, somewhat directional. It has gain, and it has elements for 20, 15, 10, and 6. Even has more elements than that, but these are the ones I could use. And so that was part of the scenario. So there's the hex beam in the backyard. And Tom WD0HBR helped me raise it and take it down. Uh, I've talked about a link dipole being one of my go-to antennas. It's hard to see the wires there, but I have like a 20 something foot pole there, and it's holding up the center of a link dipole. And so by changing the jumpers, I could go with 80, 40, and 20 meters. Mainly, I wanted it for 80 and 40. I didn't use it for 20 because I had the hex beam. And it just turned out in this lot, it it had it had enough room to spread out the wire for, the 80 meter version of this link dipole. So that was sweet. And this is how I taught. Well, actually, I didn't get to Ken. I thought I would in Enterprise, but what you can't see the actual antenna, but there. This is a 30-foot pole, and at the top of it is a slim jim for 2 meters, and so that's you know a pretty good 2 meter antenna. It should have worked on 70 centimeters. Here's the station on the inside, and um, my rig was the ICOM 705, which is like a low power version of a ICOM 7300. And it has a spectrum display, which was nice for the search and pounce. And I had it hooked to the laptop, which was running N1MM. And on the screen with this picture is FL Digi. It's part of N1MM. It's hooked up to the logger. Um, anyway, it's a programming thing that works out very nicely. And the box there has a lithium iron phosphate battery, which is 40 amp hours. And I think, it started at 13.2 volts, and at the end of the event, it was like 12.9. So it barely touched it. So I didn't need solar panel, uh, really. And behind is a 2 meter radio behind the laptop. So this was a smooth station to use, um, um, and everything worked out nice. And I'm sending the coaxes out of one of the windows in the trailer. I cannot find a picture of my satellite setup, but it was very similar to Chris because he is my satellite mentor. I'm using an arrow antenna like he is, but I have a ICOM 9700, which is a VHF, UHF, full duplex radio. And
basically
what's
two radios in one.
is two radios in one, and this little box here. Uh, You can look it up, but it really cover it. It takes care of all, not everything, but it essentially replaces software on a computer like Chris uses, and handles the Doppler, and uh, it it you can just go to a drop down and pick your satellite and the mode and everything. So this works with the 9700, and it solves so many problems. It's just very worthwhile.
And the interface is through your phone or your tablet. So besides the little screen there, you actually got lots of control on your iPhone
Yeah,
or
it
your
shows up.
Android tablet or what have you.
Yeah,
Pretty slick.
on a
Bluetooth.
browser.
Yeah.
Well, I love engineering marvels. So here's another one. It's
They
this
done some they
sat
did some good
box.
they did some good work there, I must say.
That's right. Okay, this was the objectives. This was new for Winter Field Day 2025. And we've been talking about the objectives and multipliers. So basically, if you did the objective, among the objectives you did or checked off, you add up the multipliers. So if you did them all, you would get a multiplier of 26. And some of them are easy and some of them aren't. But so I got 24. And so you can see them there. I didn't get the satellite contact using FM. I did do a WinLink. link. I wanted to send one to Chris, but I didn't. And the WinLink, link, when I went to the channel or whatever for the one I chose on 40 meters, it was just sitting there ready. And I was able to send an email, and I sent it to my own email.
That's all right.
Yeah. And then I replied to myself, and I was, uh, and then it showed up. So it, if there are messages out there for you, it will bring them in, like reading your email. It's basically an email, but a part of the process is a RF. Um, so I use WinLink and something called Vera, and it works. It works awesome.
Yeah, I
Oh,
should point out to people who don't know WinLink that if Greg's area, like let's say the whole state of Alabama, had no internet, he could pick up that 40-meter server. I don't what state was your server in,
I
Greg?
don't even remember.
Could be Ohio, could be up at Cleveland, you know?
Yeah, it could
So
be in Sweden. Who knows?
so you pick up that server with your email and he can send that email to his daughter in California or something
Yeah,
and like to a gmail.com email address and it just bang bang it just goes. It's text only,
yeah,
but it works and they can reply back and it can come back into your radio once you check for messages. So you can be totally down and out and yet have email service with WinLink. And that's why Aries is so big on WinLink. It's an amazing system.
yeah. So I did pick up the others, and I love to use QRP, and why not? So, well, I had good success with it. All
Well, with your
right.
beam, you don't need to do QRO.
Uh, well, I did have the benefit of a gain antenna, so,
Yeah.
and it was pointed at you, Chris, but I don't
Um,
know.
we probably like two ships in the night because I could
Yep,
hear the odd North Florida guy.
yep. Okay. Well, it turned out I had 178 contacts, and this is the bands and the modes, and um, actually FM and lower sideband and upper sideband count as phone, And I actually had a couple more phone contacts in CW. And um, well, anyway, uh, you can see here that 20 meters, 14 megahertz was the hottest band for a total of 97. Then 32 on 40 meters, 7 megahertz, and 21, 15 meters was 32. So kind of balanced. I did use that dipole for 80 to get 7 contacts there. And a local ham here in Dothan, I worked him right off the bat. I met him on the repeater and then we went to simplex. So that's how I got a 2 meter simplex contact and a 6 meter, which is 50 megahertz. So, so I really had a blast. Um, I've been doing these for quite a while, and it seems, um, usually I can do better. So, but I had the ideal conditions, or really the ideal setup, so that helped me out. And I think my geography's a little better than Chris. He's way up there,
Yeah,
and
not too
there's
many moose
nothing
there.
north of him. There's nothing. So, yeah. Okay, time wise, these are details, but um, let's see. Well, it's in UTC, but the first hour I was actually doing that satellite contact, and then things got going, and so lots of contacts. And on Sunday, I thought, well, things are going to slow down, but they really didn't.
No, it got hopping. The
Yeah,
last hour got really going, I thought.
yeah. So um, anyway, lots of fun. Uh, this is the sections. That was part of the exchange, and I think I heard all of these, but I didn't work them all, and I didn't work Alaska, although I heard Alaska, AK, and I did get out to, as you'll see on the next slide, out west on 15 meters, particularly. So anyway, didn't get every section, but I did get some Canadians, but I didn't get ONN. Chris,
Next year,
what is GH?
that's Golden Horseshoe. It used to be GTA, which is
Yeah.
Greater Toronto Area. But the
Okay.
people who aren't right in Toronto got a little miffed at that. And if you look at it on a map, it's a little curved shaped zone. So they wanted to call it the Golden Horseshoe. So
Yeah.
whatever.
Well,
Complicated everything.
all right. Well,
It was GTA.
yeah. Okay. Well, the colored sections are sections I did get, and actually one of those is Ontario East or something like that, and then the western provinces I got a couple of those, and the west coast I got. So there's some dry spots in there, but that's how it turned out. But no Alaska or Hawaii. So I believe it. I believe it's showing Puerto Rico. I don't know what that is, but okay. So the stats, the CW contacts were worth 2 points each. That's sweet. That's a motivation to do CW. So if I did the math right, 83 CW contacts is 166 points. The digital contacts double too. for 18 points. The phone contacts are just 1 point each, so 86. Total points 270. The multiplier, which we've already discussed, is 24, so 6,480 points. And for me, if I were to use a multiplier of 20, if I didn't use QRP, it would have taken off 1,080 points.
You still would have beat me. I got 4,200 roughly.
Yeah.
But
Well,
pretty respectable
uh,
considering I was fighting a
uh,
chimney for a couple hours
well,
and caught fish.
I had everything going for me, so and I didn't have any distractions other than want to come home to sleep. So uh I guess
Good
I'd
going.
done a little better if I had come back and but I'm not a real overnight person. So I need that
The,
second operator to do the overnight.
yeah.
Yeah.
With solo, that's too tough. And
Yeah.
I really got to say the multiplier system that they've got now is really adds a lot of flavor to this winter field day.
Yes.
Um, whereas summer field day, everyone gets on, you know, WSJT FT8 stuff, and they just sort of stick it out there. I like this contest. I think it's a real
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
gets people trying different stuff, different antennas. You get bonuses for that. Like, you know what they should do next time is they should have it. The more antennas you try, the more multipliers you get, and then John and Frank would clean up.
I I think they should give a bonus for your age or something
Oh,
like
there's
that.
that too.
Okay.
So,
Uh,
but you know, the thing about this is that okay, the contest is one thing, but the whole purpose is to gain knowledge.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
then, so some people will just take it as a contest, and
right. Well,
it's. I mean, yeah, I mean, making points is good, but it's more of how much
yeah,
knowledge you gain from it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
that's right.
And then a social aspect too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Break Your Place was an excellent field day, and John and Scott got a lot out of it. So,
Well,
what could be
my
better than that? Yeah.
well, my wife even got something out of it.
Yeah.
Look, see, John brought this over for my wife so that to make up for her not having me available to her.
Yeah.
And she says, "No, I'm glad you're giving it to me because I I I want you to keep her away from me, and that's mine. Now I have it because he hid it, and I found it, and I stole it. And I'm gonna take some candy out of it
That
because
looks like fancy candies there.
oh yeah, man, it's got all kinds of little nice neat. There's a little
Ooh,
chocolate ball in there, and there's
I
chocolate.
I'm impressed,
Yeah.
John.
Oh, well, actually, I miss Chris not cooking breakfast and all that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no
Yeah, oh
scrambled
yeah.
eggs, no
Yeah.
chili.
Well, this is
And the
what field
chili.
day is
Yeah.
all about right here.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is the last slide. Like Chris, I like the changes they made, um, particularly using objectives as the multiplier. Um, it's not anything new, but N1MM came in handy because I could enter. It puts FL Digi and makes it part of N1MM, and I also like PSK 31. It was a lot of fun. And I always tell people who like QRO that, I don't have any problem making contacts with QRP. And part of it is there's a lot of real top-notch operators out there. And they'll just pull out your signal, you know, when I call them search and pounce, and they just come right back. So
You know,
I don't need any more power.
when John and I were talking, we were real weak, but the guy did everything he could to pull us out,
Yeah.
and he did.
Yep.
Though some guys go in there and they try to uh, deliver. They go after the real weak ones. So,
Yeah. They've got patience, you know, if,
yeah,
Well,
um,
and there's a skill too when they got a pile up going and you're trying to jump in, and after a couple of tries, you're listening and you notice some guys pick up the last person, and you sort of gauge,
yeah.
okay, there's six people trying to get in. For all of them to yell their call signs takes about 5 seconds, so I'll come in at 6 seconds and make your suffix real loud and clear, and sometimes you'll win even though you're not the strongest one. Depending on how the guy's working, but you can little nuances there can pick you up.
you got to be a little bit different to attract the attention.
Yeah, yeah, either real
Yeah,
fast or real
Yeah.
slow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the
Some
next,
guys,
yeah.
some guys that are going just sitting there going QRP, they actually go off frequency. They don't go on. They'll go in between. Like instead of on five, they go a little bit off, and that's that attracts attention.
Yeah.
Oh,
When you're
that's
going
I
down
never,
the
yeah,
band,
that's I
Well,
never noticed that.
what I
Yeah.
found is generally on CW, there there's not such a huge pileup. They're just right there and waiting on you. So they just get you right away. On phone, there are bigger pileups and it can be more challenging. But but you can get there. And if you have to give up on one guy, go to another one. There's some there's some that just attract the pileups, and there's others sitting there and nobody's calling them, and they're ready to talk to you. Well, don't go out and get a buddy hex because it's pretty expensive. You can build one if you want, but
Or
um,
you can go work with Greg on the next winter field day.
yeah, I have a way to share that buddy hex with two stations working independently with, so two stations and one antenna. Now you have
Yeah,
to be on different bands, but
they work quite well in Dothan.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, and you could do that with other kind of antennas. There's some more boxes that make that happen. And but as Frank showed, there's just many possibilities for field day antennas. And well, I guess I've discovered that I can use this setup in my daughter's backyard if I want to.
uh, Greg, you said something. You
Yeah,
said
go
something.
ahead.
If it's got wheels and it moves, it could be considered mobile.
That's right.
I have a wheelbarrow in the back. If I sat on that, would that count?
Yes, that is mobile. Yes. All right, guys. Thanks for your patience. That is it. Yeah. But I'm ready to get ready. I'm ready to get ready for ARR Field Day in June. So let's go. Let's go. I need to make a
Yeah.
reservation.
Good job, Greg.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks,
Very
Greg.
nice, Craig.